Hey guys, today I want to talk about the Surface Book and its GPUs. If you've ever tried looking up the specifics of a Surface Book's integrated and dedicated GPUs, you may notice that the information people post about are arguably inconsistent. You may have heard that the Surface Book's dGPU has only 1GB of memory, which is correct, but when you run a hardware diagnostic through the DirectX diagnostic tool, it reports that the Surface Book has 9,130 megabytes of video memory. So you're going to wonder, well, where the heck did the other 8,106 megabytes come from? My purpose for making this video is to provide the real technical specifications of the Surface Book's integrated and dedicated GPUs, and to finally confirm the tech specs of the device. If you've seen my full review of the Surface Book, you may have noticed that I reported 9,130 megabytes of GDDR5 video memory on it, and then noted with an asterisk that only 1GB is active video memory. Some people saw this and were confused. They looked at that data and recalled from whatever source that the Surface Book actually had 1GB and only used 1GB flat. So they instantly thought that my information was incorrect, when really the information is technically correct but simply not worded properly. That is my fault, however, that is why I'm back with this video. I will be reporting the same data from my review, explaining in better detail where the numbers come from, and also explaining what the test results from these diagnostic tools actually mean. So let's get started. Let's begin with the Surface Book's integrated GPU, as all Surface Book models will have an integrated Intel GPU, the one that is built into the CPU. All Surface Book models will come with a 15-watt dual-core Intel Skylake processor. The higher tier models will come with an Intel Core i7, while the lower tier models will come with an Intel Core i5. The Surface Book model I have is one of the higher tier models, which has an Intel Core i7 6600U CPU with a base clock speed of 2.6 GHz. Alongside that Intel CPU will be your integrated graphics processing unit, the Intel HD Graphics 520. When running the DirectX diagnostic test, it shows that the approximate available graphics memory for the Surface Book's integrated graphics is 8,283 megabytes, which is a little bit more than 8 gigabytes. That should sound a little bit questionable when you consider the type of GPU this is. This little GPU is a fairly strong chip, but there's no way it could have that much memory. So what does it actually have? Opening the properties pane for the Surface Display and Intel HD Graphics 520, you can clearly see here that the integrated GPU has only 128 megabytes of video memory. However, notice that the integrated graphics card also uses 8,155 megabytes of system memory. While the integrated GPU is built to only have 128 megabytes of video memory, it also uses another 8,155 megabytes of the system reserved or computer reserved memory so that it can process more information. So in a nutshell, the Surface Book's integrated GPU, the Intel HD Graphics 520, has only 128 megabytes of video memory. However, 8,155 megabytes of additional video memory may be borrowed outside of the integrated graphics card to help compute more graphical information. On average, Windows 10 seems to try to keep the VRAM usage per process under 1GB, so when the Surface Book does not have its dedicated GPU attached, it's safe for the operating system to spike beyond 1GB for the more demanding tasks. Finally, let's get to the Surface Book's dedicated GPU, which only some Surface Book models have. This is a unique custom-made NVIDIA GeForce dGPU, which is only used as a render-only display device, according to the DirectX diagnostic tool. This means that the graphics card does a lot more rendering of graphical information, but doesn't actually do the displaying of that information, nor does it fill in to power a physical display. This NVIDIA dGPU uses CUDA technology, containing 384 CUDA cores. This primarily improves the dGPU's performance when handling graphically intensive tasks from programs that require NVIDIA's CUDA technologies, such as Adobe products. Additionally, this dGPU is clocked at about 954 MHz, which may sound weak or nearly adequate, but feels considerably fast and powerful when tasks are moved to be processed in the dGPU. Take note that running the DirectX diagnostic tool on the Surface Book with the dGPU will report back around 9,130 megabytes of available graphics memory. Converted, that is about 9 gigabytes of VRAM. However, a lot of us have heard that this custom-made NVIDIA dGPU was built with only 1 gigabyte of VRAM. That is absolutely correct. The dGPU on the Surface Book is built with only 1 GB of video memory, specifically 1024 megabytes of dedicated video memory, as reported in the system information pane from the NVIDIA control panel. However, it's also important to note that the dedicated GPU is doing the same thing the integrated GPU is doing. It's borrowing an extra 8,155 megabytes of video memory from the system. Therefore, the Surface Book's dGPU has a technical total of 9,179 megabytes of video memory and is 100% capable of using up to 9,130 megabytes of that video memory to compute graphical information. So here's a quick recap on the Surface Book's 2 GPUs. The integrated GPU on the Surface Book is an Intel HD Graphics 520 GPU built with only 128 megabytes of video memory. The dedicated GPU is an NVIDIA GeForce GPU custom made for the Surface Book, although this dGPU is built with only 1024 megabytes of video memory. So now you know. The dGPU doesn't have 9 gigabytes of video memory built into it, it only has 1 gigabyte of video memory. But having only 1 gigabyte of video memory doesn't mean it only uses 1 gigabyte. Even though the Surface Book's dGPU is built with 1 gigabyte of VRAM, it can still use a shared portion of video memory from the system to handle more stuff. Therefore, it can use a total of up to 9 gigabytes of video memory, my model at least. Other premium laptops and most desktops, if not all, share video memory with the system as well. My desktop Windows PC at home has a ridiculously powerful GPU with 8 gigabytes of video memory, but still borrows another 16 gigabytes of video memory from the system. My MacBook Pro with Windows 10 installed shows that it does the same thing as well, borrowing more video memory from the system in addition to what its card has built into it. What does all this mean? Well, you potentially have more usable video memory than what you expect to have. For the average tech savvy, this shouldn't be surprising at all. We all know that 1 gigabyte can't possibly perform well with graphics intensive tasks, so when we discover that extra something that our PC has, the data will sound more realistic. Some people might say, if it was built with 1 gigabyte, it only has 1 gigabyte. That's that. And sure, it's 100% understandable to think that. After all, the Surface Book's dGPU was meant to come with 1 gigabyte of VRAM, not more or less. But it's important to understand that the Surface Book is using a lot more than just that 128 megabytes or 1 gigabyte that the GPUs come with. So that's where the other 7,000 to 8,000 megabytes come from. I hope you found this video helpful. If you liked it, drop a like, and if you loved it, I'd love a sub too. My time's up, so I'll see you guys again in my next video.